Hey guys, welcome to another video. Thanks for joining today. I'm going to do a comparison, a which shoe for you video as I like to call it, between the two most recent Anta shoes I bought. Anta is a brand from China. They're not readily available in the US, but they do now have a US facing website. They're definitely growing. They're actually one of the largest sportswear brands in the world. They own Amerisports, so they really own Solomon. They own a good bit of Puma. Anyway, they are a good sized brand, one of the top sellers in China. And I recently got two pairs of shoes. I got the Anta Zone 2 80. Their Zone 2 90 has actually gotten quite a bit of press, and you can buy it on the US facing website. I believe that sells for like $120. It has a real bouncy, the N90 has a real bouncy foam. I'm suspecting it's TPEE. They also sell it in 85, an N85 that has this foam on the bottom, which I think is a beaded PIBA. And then it puts the TPE on top, so you end up with a little bit bouncier foam than this. And then this, I went with the N80, which is an all PIBA foam, beaded PIBA foam. They call them all in for nitro edge, but the foam composition does change with the different models. Anyway, I like PIBA foam. This is a shoe that I am enjoying. I've got over 80 miles in it. It's got a fairly breathable upper, not super breathable, but it does seem very tough. Moderately cushioned heel collar and tongue. Pretty good laces, pretty good bounce. I do like there's a really cool pattern on the outsole rubber, which is getting a little bit of wear, but it looks like it's going to last at least an average number of miles, probably 350 to 400, I would guess. It does open up a bit in the toe box, but then it does swoop in quite a bit. I'm actually have these in a size 11. I usually wear an 11 or 11 and a half, but these are fitting me fine. I have plenty of room. I will say it does get fairly narrow through the midfoot and then opens up. And then I've got enough room for my mid-size foot if you really need a really wide toe box. It's fairly wide through here, but it does swoop in a little bit at for a more pointy toe. It does have a nylon shank in it to give it some stability. This shoe in a size 11 comes in at 9.6 ounces, so I'm assuming it's probably more like 8.5 ounces in a in size 9. Anyway, it's a very good shoe. The second shoe I got from Anta was the Roadhog 3, but this is a more natural lower drop shoe, lower stack height shoe. Going back to the N80, it is a 6mm drop shoe. I'm measuring it as 34 in the heel, 28 in the forefoot, right up my alley. Now this one is a little bit lower stack height. They call it 22 and 28, but when I measure with the outsole and everything, I'm getting 31 in the heel, 25 in the forefoot, so it's a little bit lower. This one, the foam is not really disclosed, but they say it gives like about 80% energy return, and I'm suspecting it's pretty much the same foam. This one, I really like the upper. It comes with a design where they say it's 2E wide in the forefoot, which I find is really nice. Now it does taper back to a more natural fit through the midfoot. And then I don't really know what this rubber compound is, but I've got 80 miles on it. It's very thick and it's really not wearing. Now on the other hand, this one is very cushioned around the heel collar. It has a super thin gusseted tongue in it. And it is an asymmetrical lace design, so you're actually going off center a little bit. I'm actually finding that these actually probably breathe a little bit better than the Zone 2 shoes that I have. Would think that this would give you lace bite, but the way they've offset it really works well, and the gusset is not so tight that it makes it uncomfortable. My one gripe with this shoe was just that this thin tongue, the top portion is more of a felty type material with little bumps. When you sweat, it gets wet, and it does take a while to dry. But other than that, it's been good. Between the two shoes, I would have, in a lot of ways, say I prefer I would lean toward the Anta Zone 2 80 because it has a little bit more foam. It's 34 and 28. This is 31 and 25. And it's lighter weight. This weighs 9.6 ounces in a men's size 11. This is coming in at 10.4 ounces in a size 11. So it definitely weighs a bit more. However, I'm finding that when I grab a shoe, my preference is really going toward the Roadhog. Paid similar prices for it. I think these were like $83. I bought them on Chopning, the Zone 2 80s. You can get the Roadhog 3s on Chopnings for $79.99, so they're like $3 cheaper. And they're definitely heavier, and they're a little lower stack height. However, I'm finding the bounciness of the foam is very similar. I'm assuming they're both like beaded PIBA. I think they're probably the same foam. And I do think the outsole on the Roadhog is going to last a little longer. But when I go to grab a shoe, my favorite one, I tend to grab the Roadhog more often, even though it weighs a little bit more. And I think it's primarily just because I love the fit of this thing. The rocker feels nice. It's not super aggressive, but for a everyday running, everyday daily run, it's great. And I'm loving the 2E wide toe box. And then I also find that it doesn't narrow down quite as much through the midfoot. So I just find it a more comfortable fit, and I just love to grab it. I love this shoe actually. And they both fit in that below 30 and the 4-foot range for me, so I get some proprioception. And as long as I don't feel a lot of comfortable road feel, to me a lower drop is even better. I have found that I'm having a little trouble even running in my Ultra Escalantes now with the 24mm stack height, just because my lower back seems to need a little bit more cushion with the arthritis I have in it. But these with just the 25mm are fine. They give a lot of cushion, a lot of protection. I still feel fairly low to the ground, and it's got the nice wide fit. So just my thoughts, just a comparison. They're both really good shoes for similar price, similar foam. The N80 definitely weighs less, the Zone 2, but the Roadhog, I love the fit. Anyway, those are just my thoughts, my comparison. If you found the video interesting, please consider hitting the thumbs up, the like button. If you're interested in any more of my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And other than that, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And keep moving!